right, so we're so excited to start this 21-day challenge, the marriage challenge here at Journey, and we're starting off with our pastors, Pastor Scott and Raquel, and we're just so excited to hear from you guys and gain wisdom from you just about your life experience, but just also some challenges that you have for the people in our church and the married couples in our church that just want to learn more and to grow. And so let's just jump right in. You guys ready?
We're ready.
Yeah, it's
ready.
exciting just to sit and talk to you and hang out with you for a little bit.
I'm just nervous what she's going to say publicly right now.
Yeah.
So we gotta be
She told me a few of the
behave
things.
yourself.
Yeah,
Behave yourself.
it suddenly got hot in here. Yeah. Good. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about was obviously over the years, the world's view of marriage and God's view of marriage have just grown apart. Less than 50% of people want to actually be married right now, where years ago, it was in the upper 80% where people wanted to be in a loving, committed marriage. So now people are totally disenchanted with marriage. They don't want to get married. They're more prone to live together, all these types of things. So we're seeing this big divide between God's view of marriage and the world's view. And I just wanted to hear from you. What do you think are those big differences? What's happening in the world right now that the world is seeing marriage one way and then God is seeing marriage another way?
I think there's a couple of things. One is that I think one of the things people don't always understand is that marriage was literally the foundation that God would build a society on.
Right.
It's the family unit. And you can do study after study. And when the family unit breaks down, educational issues, poverty issues, crime rates, they just all go through the roof. So you see God in his brilliance designed this loving relationship between a husband and a wife to be the foundation, not just to life, but actually society in itself. So I think in some ways, one of the biggest things would be that God designed marriage out of something called mutual submission. And the world has turned marriage into something that is very self-centered.
Wow, yeah, that's good.
And so that marriage in God's design, the one who authored marriage, was like, hey, you need to mutually submit to one another.
Right.
And yeah, there are different roles and responsibility, although we're equal. But primarily my job is to submit to her, and her job is to submit to me. And how do we serve each other, meet each other's needs? And so the problem is so many walk into marriage of going, how can my need get met?
Wow, yeah.
And so you have two people, and I hate to say this, almost selfishly going, well, he's not meeting my needs or she's not meeting my needs. And so you have these this relationship that turns into very self-centered and then this compartmentalized aspect of that. And then people are frustrated because their needs aren't meeting instead of stepping in going, hey, God, you've called me to love her like Christ, loved the church. How can I serve Raquel, make Raquel everything, and how can Raquel serve me and make me everything God created me to be? Yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest differences is that we stepped into what can I get out of this versus I'm here to lay my life down for this person and mutually submit and serve my spouse.
Right. Yeah, that's so good. We live in such a consumer society of how we're going to get our needs met, the instant gratification, and that's sort of bled into marriage, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think too, the world has a wrong view of what love really is. So people say, I'm in love now. Oh, I'm not in love with that person anymore. I'm going to have a divorce. And according to the word, love is an action.
Wow.
Love is a choice.
Yes.
Love is patient. Love is kind. And going back to the basics of forgiveness as well. And it's not self-seeking. So you're not seeking things for yourself. It's sacrificial. Yeah. So I think the world can just be so flickery about, I'm in love, I'm not in love. And the word is the opposite of that.
Yes.
Love is action. It's an action, it's a choice.
And here's the thing that I think is so amazing that people don't see, and I want to encourage you guys in this, is that it almost sounds like no wonder people don't want to get married, right? I got to lay my life down and I got to mutually submit, and it's like
I
it doesn't
play pickleball.
Yeah, well, yeah. So watch football with me, and it's like, but what's so ironic about this? I think one of the things that we've discovered is that when I'm doing this for Raquel, and I'm actually loving her this way, and we're actually both fulfilled,
right,
and we find greater joy.
Yeah.
And I think this is what people don't realize. It's like it almost can feel like, oh boy, here I go. It's going to be sacrificial. Lay my life down, mutual submission. That means I don't get what I want. I focus on her needs.
Right.
And what if I'm a doormat? That whole thing.
Yeah.
But what's amazing when you're married to someone that actually is a good person. And by the way, you kind of chose the person you married to, so hopefully there's some good in there and you saw something right in there. Most good people, when they're loved and cared for, respond.
Yeah.
with love and they care. Now, it doesn't mean they don't drift in season. And I think both of us would probably acknowledge there are seasons where maybe we took more than we gave and we had to, the Holy Spirit and conversations had to deal with that. But I just want to encourage you with this. It sounds like the word submission is like a swear word.
Right.
And this idea of mutually submission, it's a negative thing. But I'm just telling you, the way God designed you and the way God blesses your marriage, when you shift the focus off of yourself and you start going, how can I be the husband that Raquel needs, and how can I meet her needs and get this it's amazing. I actually find greater fulfillment. We have a better marriage together, greater joy together. Yeah. And so I just want to, encourage you in that way, is that it sounds negative and it is sacrificial, but in the long run, it's actually beneficial. And the people that will find the greatest joy and significance in their family are the people that are willing to walk into a marriage and go, I'm going to do it the way God called me to do it, which is, if you're a husband, I'm going to love my wife like Christ loved the church, right? What did Christ do? He washed the church's feet, laid his life down. He was just constantly willing to sacrifice himself for the bride. And what happened? Those disciples then laid their lives down for Jesus as well. And I think, so that's my encouragement to you. It's not just a negative thing. I think the net result is an incredible thing that's generational, and your kids see it in what God can do when he blesses marriage or doing his way. It's just incredible.
Yes. Awesome.